Hey gamers, welcome back. Today we're going to tackle speed painting some British light dragoons. These iconic troops had a variety of different facing colours, which look pretty impressive and easy to spot on the tabletop. So gather your gear and I'm going to show you my secrets to getting them battle ready fast. Before we get started, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to be reminded when I upload new videos, and also join us on our Facebook group. So let's get into our preparation, and first things first, let's talk about the priming of the miniatures. A good primer ensures the paint adheres to the miniatures and provides a solid base for the colours, so it's very important. So I've base coated these with black, however you could also use whites and greys depending on what you're going for. Lighter colours, as in sort of reds and yellows or brighter, might want a white or a grey base coat. However, I like the black because it gives you that sort of pre-existing shadowy effect. Ultimately, find out what works for you. And then it's a matter of gathering your paints together for whichever regiments you're doing, get the right colours. Gather your tools, you're going to need some clippers and possibly a knife, glue, bits and pieces. And also your paintbrushes. So a good selection across the board will get you set up for any eventuality. So let's get stuck into the interesting part, which is the painting. So we're going to start off with their tunics in game colour night blue. So most of the regiments did have dark blue tunics, or at least most of the light dragoon regiments, I should say, had dark blue tunics. So for my method, the method that we're going to be doing here, what we're going to do is go over all of the base colours on the miniature first, and then we'll build up to the lighter ones as we progress. So we're obviously starting with things like the uniform tunic, the trousers, the horses, muskets, etc. And then slowly but surely we'll build up to the brighter colours later on. Next up we've got trousers. So I'm starting them off with game colour dead white. An alternative, if you wanted to go straight for grey, would be to use like Army Painter uniform grey, which I have, which is also a good colour. But the source image that I've used, they had white trousers, so that's just what I'm going with. Plus, by the time we apply the shade later on, it does kind of dirty them up a little bit anyway, so it's kind of the happy medium. So for the horses, I'm using game colour leather brown. You could do a variety of different colours for your horses. However, because we're speed painting, I find it easy just to get one colour and go with it, and that way they're all uniform and easy and done fast. But ultimately, it's entirely up to you how you want your forces to look. Forces and horses. So now we're going to do the facing colours of the regiment plus the horse furniture. So we're going to be using System 3 yellow and game colour orange for their facing colours as the primary colours, I should say. We'll also use white as the sheepskin on the saddles themselves. So the colours that I'm using are acrylic paints. They are very good beginner. Acrylics are very good for beginners. Oils take a little bit more practice, but you can get good with them as well. But I find acrylics are easy to clean up, they're readily available, so they're just good all-round paints. Plus most miniature hobby paints now do tend to be acrylics, so they're easy to get your hands on. The key points that I'd say here is, as you're going through these foundation layers, don't worry about being too precise, just focus on getting an even coat over the entire uniform/horse. So next up we're going to be doing the sword, the scabbard and any bits of metalwork that we can find on the miniature, and we're using game colour silver for this. I've said it in quite a few of my videos, but I really do like this colour. I'm not sure what it is, it just flows nicely. It's one of my favourites. So definitely recommend it if you're looking for a silver, go for game colour silver. So talking about the British forces, what was your preferred cavalry or infantry regiment within the British forces of the Napoleonic Wars. Or if you want to expand it out a bit further, we could say from 1750 through to 1900. Do you have any favourites? Put a comment down below. Next up, we're going to be doing their skin. So we're going to go for Game Colour Bone White. Should be noted that most of the guys would probably be wearing gloves, although some of them would have lost them or they would have become damaged and they couldn't get replacements. But for the most part, they probably should be wearing gloves, but it's up to you whether you paint them barehanded or with a white/grey colour. Or who knows, maybe they're in the field and they've managed to acquire a pair of brown gloves, who knows. Whatever you feel like. Next up, we're going to be doing the carbines, and these are going to be done in model colour chocolate brown. Usually I would do muskets using leather brown, just 'cause it's a bit lighter, but because of the fact we've already got the horses in that coloration, I decided to just use a slightly different tone for the for the carbines. Now, to add depth and shading, we're going to use a wash. I have got a video on it, so that you can go and check that out, how I make my own washes. But I'm going to use a dark brown wash and apply it generously over the entire miniature. That way when it settles into the recesses, it'll create shadows and highlighted areas. Washes are really great for adding depth quickly without needing complex layering techniques, so it's a really good sort of easy to learn technique. So now what we're going to do is start highlighting. So use whatever colours you use to start with. Now that we've dulled it down with the wash, you can use those colours to do your highlighting. So rather than needing to double up and get different blues or different yellows or whatever, you can just use those same ones again. So it's quite an effective and cost-effective technique. Now for all of the leather work on the horses and on the men, we're just going to use black from Game Colour. It's got a bit of a gloss tone to it, so especially when you put it on the reins, it actually stands out and looks pretty good. Now we get to do the braiding and like cross belts, so we're going to use Game Colour Dead White. At this stage I would definitely advise you to use the most fine detail brush you've got, support the miniatures and support your hand on the table just so that you can try and do it smoothly without any juddering. Easier said than done. If you do make mistakes, don't worry, again we're using acrylics, so as long as you act quickly you can get a brush with water on it and sort of splosh it over the area, and then quickly with either Q-tips or some paper towel absorb all of that sort of painty water, and then it shouldn't affect the miniature and you can start again. But just take your time and hopefully you won't have to go through that process. And now for our final colour, we're going to be doing the buckles, the chin straps and the badges, and we're going to use Game Colours Bright Bronze for this. So again, I'm using my fine detail brush, and that way you can just put a little spot onto each of their ammunition cartouche boxes. If their cap badges or shako badges are bronze, then you could do it bronze. If they were silver, obviously do them silver. Also on some of the straps, the white straps, there's going to be buckles, so you can do those in bronze as well. So now we get to the basing and the finishing touches. So let's add some finishing touches in the form of painting the bases first. Choose a colour that matches your gaming table. Then also think about, do you want to add some static grass tufts? Do you want to just put regular flock on? Clump foliage, stones, sticks. There's a huge variety of ways and materials that you can put onto the bases, so they don't just have to be very plain, they can really become little dioramas all on themselves. But ultimately, that's up to you and what you want to get out of it. If you're not really fussed, then you could just paint them green. With the Epic Battles range, I've seen people who just play with them unpainted entirely. So whatever you feel like doing, go for it. And there you have it, a quick and easy method to speed paint your British Light Dragoons for the Napoleonic Wars. These chaps were pretty fast to paint. I think they took about an hour to do both types, so really nice and easy. The techniques will help you get your army ready for the table very fast without sacrificing too much on quality. I think they came out pretty nicely, to be honest. I mean, just remember, speed painting is all about finding the right balance between quality and efficiency, and slowly but surely you'll find out what works best for you. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you found the video helpful, make sure you do like and subscribe, and then hit that bell icon so that you don't miss out on any future wargaming tips and tutorials. Also, leave a comment down below on what you want to see next. And until next time, guys, happy painting and happy gaming.